What's up, everybody?
Hi! We saw a movie.
Guess we did.
That's just generally speaking what we do.
Moving pictures.
Yeah, movies.
Moving
Flicks.
pictures at night. In the rain.
It is raining. Brad's
It
gonna
is
be
raining.
really he's gonna give a shit for not going and driving under an awning, but I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that loud.
No. And if you do hear it, you know what it is, so.
Yeah, it's raining. A little bit, just a tiny bit.
It's not motherfucking snow, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
You rain, just don't turn into that white shit anymore.
Fresh and clean. Dude,
It's revival. It's spring is around the corner.
Oh, thank fucking Jesus. Like, get out of the winter funk.
Yeah, so we saw the new Sean Penn film, The Gunman.
Yes.
Very much heavy on the political agenda.
Well, it was co-written by Sean Penn.
Yeah. But when you see the trailers for it,
Didn't expect that.
no,
at all.
it looked like a straight up action film, and it's like I said earlier, it seemed like he was trying to do a cross between like the Taken movies and Syriana.
That was the director of Taken.
Oh, okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know I've seen those action sequences before. I'm like 4 different times in
Yeah.
the 3 Taken
But
movies.
it was like cramming Syriana and Taken together, and it doesn't quite work because neither of them gets the attention they deserve.
no.
But that's the main criticism of it. Other than that, it's very watchable. It's not a bad movie. It's like Rotten Tomatoes, like before we went in, it's sitting like at 20%, which I think it might be a little low for this. I mean, it's not great. It's certainly not close to perfect, but there's nothing so intrinsically bad about it that it made me want to like get up and leave. Like I was still interested to see where it was going to
No.
go.
It's a passable action flick.
Yeah.
With a bleeding heart theme set into it.
Yeah. It feels weird. I mean,
So basically what it is Sean Penn starts out the movie in 2006 in Congo. And he's part of a PMC that's supposed to protect these government organizations that are helping provide humanitarian aid to these people that are in the midst of a civil war, and their homes are being raided, their villages destroyed.
machete attacks.
Machete attacks, literally. His girlfriend in the movie is one of the doctors providing humanitarian aid. But on the side, they've got this other deal because they're also protecting the mining interests of a private corporation that's not in the Congo. That's, they're getting the mineral. They have mining contracts for the Congos. They can come in and mine. It's rich with gold and copper, money-making shit that they don't want to lose. So at some point, the mining minister of the Congo decides to cancel all the contracts that they have with all the private mining corporations. So they get tasked with taking him out. Which Javier Bardem is in this as basically their contact with the mining corporations. Well, he's got an eye on Sean Penn's girl.
Yeah.
He's really into her. So the guy who shoots...
Not even subtly.
No.
Just like straight up.
He's like, I want to fuck you. I'm giving you the fuck me eyes right now. Please fuck me. You can't deal with a hard ass man. Go with I'm a softie. That's what he basically says. He's like, why don't you fall in love with a soft man? And he's kind of looking at her like, it's very heavy handed. I think, and she knows that. So the stipulation is that whoever kills this mining minister has to leave the continent. So Javier Bardem decides to pick Sean Penn's character, knowing he's going to have to leave the continent.
Yeah.
So the contract goes down. Mining minister ends up dead. And then it flash forwards
8 years.
8 years later to now, because it was 2006 then. And Sean Penn is back in the Congo, kind of doing humanitarian aid himself, kind of as a penance for what he did. He's trying to make things right. And while he's out digging a well for these people, some random guys try and kill him.
With a machete.
With a machete. Well, and a gun, too. I mean, there's a wide range of arsenal that they try and use, but of course it doesn't work because Sean Penn is a Special Forces badass in this movie, which... Okay. Whereas he beefed up.
He did.
As much as Sean Penn can beef up,
like he beefed up. But he beefed up in such a way that it's oddly unproportionate to the rest of his body. Like the biceps were so much bigger than the rest of his arm that it's like, those don't fit your shoulders, bro. It don't work. It's like
he has bicep that goes directly into the clavicle. There's actually nothing here. There's no actual shoulder blade. It's just all bicep going all the way up here.
And then the rest of his arms are just normal.
Just normal Sean Penn arms.
Yeah. Which, and it's one of those things that, this whole movie, one of the things that was distracting me was Sean Penn he's a great actor. He really is. He's a fantastic actor. But he's just not the dude I see in action movies. Even in my brain. Because he does have kind of that grizzled, he's getting older, he's aging into, a grizzled, hard-looking dude. But at the same time, it's just, still just don't see him as an action guy for some reason.
No, and I think that kind of plays in the other part of the movie where he's, obviously it's one of these things where he's been trying to be killed because of that operation. And basically, there's somebody higher up who's got a new PMC that he wants to take to new heights and get. They're in line for a new Black Ops contract, and but they have to clean house for all their old contracts because they don't want any, Interpol is after this PMC for, they think they were involved, rightly so, with the assassination of mining ministers. So this guy's going around and killing all of the old operatives so nobody can talk. So he's basically sweeping everything under the rug. And Sean Penn is basically the last guy. So he's got to figure out who's trying to set him up. And then meantime, his girlfriend is married, Javier Bardem, and she doesn't know. He at one point he goes to Spain because he wants to talk to Felix, which is Javier Bardem's character, about the people that hired them to do this contract. And
Javier Bardem basically acts like a spoiled little douchebag.
Yeah. Throughout the whole movie.
Sets it up to try and embarrass. He basically sets up his own demise. Oh, you're here to fuck her. Well, fine. I'll set it up so you can fuck her, and then I'm just gonna hate you.
Yes.
That's really what it is. It's just if he had acted like a goddamn rational human being, it would have been okay. I think.
Yeah.
If he had just been here's the information you wanted, now leave me and my fucking wife alone.
Exactly.
No problems. But no, he had to act like a fucking baby and try and embarrass them both, and they just end up fucking. Immediately fucking. Haven't seen you 8 years, you left me in the jungle to die, I'm gonna fuck your brains out.
That's 8 years of moistness. It needs to be satisfied right now.
Oh, dear God, man.
That's what it is. She looked at him and got instantly moist. Said, nah, damn it. Nope, can't do it.
Yeah.
Just didn't even take the clothes off. Didn't even have time. Just kind of...
No. Fully clothed.
Fully clothed.
Which, it was one of the, it's okay, they neither of them take their clothes off for that sex scene. No. And then suddenly in the next scene, she's just, wearing his white button-down shirt again.
Yeah.
It was a really weird and misplaced sex scene. It was this is going on for far too long for nothing to look like it's actually happening.
Right. Beep, beep. I don't know who that was. Anyway.
Oh, I think I squashed the keys.
Oops.
Different car.
Then they obviously bring the girlfriend back into it, and that unfortunately adds about 20 minutes to this movie that doesn't need to happen.
Well, and it's one of those, that's where the whole third kind of movie it is goes in there, where it's it's the romantic action movie, the I must rescue you action. It's where Taken comes in. It is literally where Taken comes in. That was my main problem with this movie is the cast is all fine actors because you have Javier Bardem, you have Sean Penn, you have fucking you got Idris Elba,
who's completely wasted in this movie.
Yeah,
that could have been.
That was a glorified cameo.
Anybody, yeah, it could have been anybody.
Yeah,
he's in for what, maybe 5 minutes?
Maybe, yeah, and he's great in it.
Well, yeah,
and then they got Ray Winstone, who is easily one of my favorite actors. That dude's just great in everything. And he does some garbage movies, but he's just fucking fantastic.
And it seems like to prep for his role, they were like, Ray, I just need you to
be you.
Be you, and I need you to eat all the meat and drink all the beer you possibly can.
So be you.
So
I'm starting to feel like Ray Winstone is the fucking oh goddamn. He's the British John Goodman.
Oh good God. Yeah, I can see that.
And John Goodman's a fucking national treasure, so I mean.
Oh.
But yeah, I think he's just kind of becoming that dude where he's like
he's in full John Goodman mode.
Well, and I'm not speaking as to his size and girth, but he's like he plays. But he's a big fellow with a good range, and he can either be like fun and funny or just downright fucking scary.
I don't think I ever remember him being that big though.
No, he's not that big.
Oh, he had a gut.
Yeah, well,
he did. I mean, compared to some of the stuff he's done in the past, like I'm the most recent, not the most recent, but the last thing I can really remember him in because he had a lot of part in it was Crystal Skull.
Yeah,
and he was actually, I mean, he wasn't in decent shape, but he wasn't.
Yeah,
like Jabba the Hutt type. Like he's let himself go in this movie. I mean, I'm sure it's for the role, but
I can very well see it being for the role. Yeah,
but I feel like that's kind of what they said for the role. Just drink a lot of beer. Don't worry about taking care of yourself. And you're good.
Yeah, but he's great.
Oh, he is. Yeah. He is. Yeah,
and he's kind of completely wasted too. But it's kind of like, you know, if he was Judi Dench in this movie, he'd get a fucking Oscar nomination. So,
ow now.
She's a wonderful woman.
We can't bitch on the dame. we can bitch at the Academy for being fucktards, but
this movie does, once everything's set up, it's so easy to see exactly where it's going, exactly what's going to happen, who's going to live, who's going to die, how things are going to play out in the end, and it's all very telegraphed in the way that it's a very, and not like, oh, this is poorly written. It's just like, I've seen this movie before.
There's no deviation.
Yeah, I've seen this movie many times, and that's fine. I like that movie. I do. It's not a bad movie.
No, it's not.
And this is not a bad variation of that movie. It's just, I think they had that problem where they were just trying to cram so much in that it's like, okay, I understand you want to get your politics in there and you want to get your point across, and that's completely understandable because it's not a bad stance to take, but at the same time, like, but make the movie about that, like, not 20 minutes of that bookending an action movie, you know, like make the movie about that, like, and yeah, it might not get as many people sitting down in the theater to watch it. But quite frankly, you get your point across. Or make both fucking movies. Just make two different movies.
Right.
But that's the thing. It was just like, it had too many voices going on, and that was my main problem with it.
Well, and I think part of that had to do with the fact that Sean Penn helped to write it, but he didn't write all of it.
Yeah, he co-wrote it.
So you can tell the scene, you can tell the parts that he wrote easily. Anytime you hear about PMCs being evil or the redemption of his character, because I feel like had he not written it all, the character would have ended in a worse spot than what he ended up in.
Possibly, but it's also, this was based on a book, and I've never read the book.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, and maybe he was adamant about keeping those parts in, or maybe those parts were added. I'm not familiar with the novel, but
that's true.
At the same time, it's just, it was, the way it was put in was clunky, is really the main issue. Like, you could have that as an underlying theme and still have a good action movie, but it was put in such a way that it was like, well, we have all this going on right here, so we can't add in, like, very simple dialogue, or, like, explore that theme through, like, all this driving and all this extra, like, this 10-minute sex scene that's completely unnecessary. Like, we can't use that time to, like, discuss these things, or, like...
Right.
because I guess it's an action movie, so they don't want it to have dialogue, which has never made sense to me. No dialogue until the villain starts laying out his plan.
Then it's a long-ass monologue, and you're just like, oh, shut up already.
But it's put in such a way that it's really it's just kind of clunky. By just expounding on it in places where it doesn't make sense to, and then having bookends of the newscasters and the news reports, which I just... It's very rare that something like that works in a movie to me, where they're, like, having it bookended by TV footage. Like, it's very rare I find that acceptable in a movie, because you know what? I don't need 10 minutes of you telling me you're in the Congo during a civil war. You just go, Congo, 2006, and have two guys walk across the screen and go, fucking civil war. Got it. I got it. Yeah. That's all I don't need 5 minutes of explaining the politics of this war to me for a movie.
Anything could have worked that way. I mean, and you can get that. Like, they have that newscast, and then go into the movie. The movie pretty much explains it without needing that newscast. You don't have to have that newscast to realize what's going on in this country. I mean, over the course of their actions and what they're doing, you figure it out. It's not like you're like, who's that? Why are they there? You know why they're there.
Well, and people in this country, for the most part, we're pretty fucking stupid here. But at the same time, like, I think most of us are smart enough to know that, like, oh yeah, the Congo. Not safe. Like, bad shit goes down there, right?
Not really a good place most of the time, so yeah. But yeah, it existed to have a bare bones impact. It's the skeleton of the movie. It drives the movie, but in such a small way that it's either take it out or expand upon it. But,
and I think it would have been a better movie if, all in all, if they'd expanded upon it. But you could easily take it out and just have a goddamn action movie where it's like, ex-special forces, they're out to kill him. Why are they out to... Like, you don't need all the build-up to that.
No,
like, you could just start off on someone trying to kill his ass.
Right.
Like, cut out the first 20 minutes of the movie. You could do that. You don't have to. Just clean it up, tighten it up, and that's...
I mean, if you need to have anything, you could even do flashbacks, quick snap cuts to a flashback sequence, and you piece it together as the movie goes on, as opposed to having it all play out and then jump 8 years later.
And I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago doing one of these. I don't know if it's the same for you, but more and more as the weeks go by, like, we're seeing a movie like every week, every other week. Like, I remember a couple of years ago, we'd get in these cars and just fucking scream about movies, and now, like, we're being actually critical, and I think it's just because we've seen so many movies. I don't even want to call it burnout, but now it's at that point where it's like, this is how you fix it, god damn it.
Yeah, it's to the point now where...
Now we're almost like real critics. We're not nearly as amusing as we used to be. Quick, say something racist.
God hates blacks. I don't know.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Too far. Reel it back in, buddy. Reel it back in.
You can't throw it at me. I'm just I'm not that good off the cuff.
This is why they don't let us do videos together very often. It's because you need a straight man, and I'm not good at that.
No, but yeah, it's either way. Yeah, either way with the whole political intrigue deal. It could have been cut out or added to.
Yeah, it's just, you gotta pick a focus. You can't have like, it's fine to have a subplot in a movie. It's fine to have a couple subplots in a movie if it's written well. I think the problem with this is it was either with the writing or with the editing, to where someone decided they needed to streamline, and then it was just by the time they brought up that whole part again, get into the political part again, I had forgotten that it was based on politics. I had forgotten it was like a political issue. Yeah. I was just like, oh yeah, that's right.
Well,
fuck.
And that's the thing, is like, if the only thing we ever see of him is the assassination of that mining minister, and then 8 years later, people are trying to kill him, I think we can piece two and two together that it probably has something to do with that.
It also did one of the things I hate most in movies. the flashback to less than a minute ago.
Oh God. Yeah.
I hate that in movies. Like, if you can give the impression that the character, like, if a good actor like Sean Penn, you don't need to go to the flashback that's happening in his brain. Just stay on him, and he will be able to get that across.
Right.
He's a good actor.
Yeah.
You don't need the flashback. The flashback that is not even like a different angle or a different way of showing the events. It's straight up what we saw a minute ago at the angles he could never have possibly seen. That's the other thing I hate in those flashbacks. It's like, he didn't see that shit.
No.
How was that his flashback?
Did he flash back to an out-of-body experience? Is that what's going on?
Oh, he was right next to the guy, too. Oh,
Yeah.
shit. That's just, to me, that's just fucking sloppy. It really is.
Yeah.
Like, they had intelligent people working on this movie. Like, the whole movie looked good, so I can't blame the director for anything.
Right.
All the cast was great. Music was pretty solid. Like, there's nothing technically wrong with this movie except for how they decided to tell this story. And I think it was just not taking full advantages of the fucking tools you have to make a better product.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I said, yeah, you're right. This movie is crisp.
Yeah.
It doesn't there's not really any lag
No,
to
it's
doesn't
got
drag
good
anywhere.
moodiness to it, good lighting, a couple little clever action points, like some of them a little ridiculous, but in that way there's just kind of like, right on, that was fun. Like, it doesn't really fit the tone, but cool. A little cartoony, but cool. Fucking an IED.
The claymore strapped to his door.
A fucking claymore that takes out half a building. It's a claymore. And, like, they're intended to shoot shrapnel. Yeah, you could probably load that bad boy up with as much C4 as you can fit into it, and it'll blow up good. But why, like, if you're gonna do that, though, why do you need a claymore? A claymore is to shoot shrapnel at people.
And it's unidirectional, so the path of destruction that it goes through, it's just like, no.
No, yeah.
No.
They shoot...
There is a cone.
This side towards enemy. This side towards enemy.
Yes.
Like, but this thing just, like, blows up an apartment.
Yeah.
Which... Alright, yeah. For years... like, suspension of disbelief for some weapons in action movies, that's fine. Like, you know, at this point, if you don't know that grenades don't actually do that, there's something wrong with you. Because grenades don't blow up a car. They don't. They'll fuck up the seats and break a couple windows, but the windows that are breaking, that's pressure. That's not fireballs.
Right.
Like, yeah, explosives like that, like, they do damage because of what they throw through the air.
Like, if you've seen movies where somebody jumps on a grenade, and what it does is, boom, you see them, it just puffs them up. It doesn't blow a hole through them. It doesn't do that shit. It's meant to more the concussiveness and the explosion.
And, yeah,
you know,
depending on the design of the grenade, like a fragmentation grenade.
Right.
That does its damage because the body breaks apart and becomes shrapnel. But, yeah, that I laughed a little bit in the movie because they have fucking Claymore hooked up to his door, and he's, like, right behind it, too, when it does this thing where it blows up this entire apartment, and he's fine.
Where the fuck did he go?
Yeah.
And it was, like, 2 seconds between him setting this Claymore back up and the bad guy opening the door. It's like, how the fuck did you get out of the way of that blast?
Yeah.
If it was as big as you think it was. Well, like, fuck, that probably should have killed you. All you've got is a cut on your hand.
No. Yeah. Now, technically speaking, depending on what that Claymore was packed with, yeah, it might be able to create an explosion that's pretty big, but it wouldn't shoot out the back.
No.
And if they had straight up, like, loaded it with plastic explosive, like, packed it to the gills with plastic explosive, that might make a pretty good blast. But at the same time, why would you use a Claymore for that?
Just pack some C4 up there
put
and
it
be done.
on the door.
You're more guaranteed to kill your target if you have a larger blast radius than straight out in front and a little bit to the sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was... Yeah.
But that's action movie stupidity, and I always laugh at it and I always question it, but at the same time, like, whatever. I'm along for the ride in an action movie half the time. Like, that's the point. Like, I don't expect great brilliance out of it, but it seemed like this movie was trying to force some brilliance into itself, and it just got like, fuck you. Just stab the fucker in the neck.
Yeah, it would, well, and at the same time, it probably wouldn't be as entertaining if they more grounded in reality.
I don't...
Like, if they actually had, like, someone ex-military take all these people out and be like, here, watch what this claymore does, or here, watch what this grenade does. This is how this firearm operates.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, folks, there's something called recoil.
Yeah.
That you don't fucking see.
Yeah, your full auto Glock with the extended clip.
It's straight on the whole time.
Straight on sideways.
It doesn't do this at all to you. No, it just kind of
full auto Glock with an extended clip. Like, if he pointed it like this, it would end up here by the time he was done. Well, with his giant goddamn biceps, who knows?
Right, straightens it out.
Yeah.
Well, and not even taking the time to aim and keep anything steady. If you're just blind firing, which is what he does a lot of the time.
That kind of drove me nuts, too. It's like, getting the point across that this dude is ex-Special Forces, and he's blind firing a lot, they're trained to not do that. Every shot matters to those guys. Like, it's just, to a point, it's like, I'm not a huge, like, pro-military, I'm fucking liberal to the gills, but show some fucking respect. Like, seriously, those guys train fucking hard. Show some respect.
And the fact that nobody could hit his ass. Because I have to assume that some of these other guys that were after him were Special Forces too.
Yeah, yeah.
And they actually sat there and took the time to aim, and they still couldn't fucking hit.
And they're not fucking 50.
No, and brain damaged.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, he's fucking brain damaged.
That whole story, we forgot to mention this, and this whole thing,
I forgot about this
it's like, they're like, it might seem like early onset Alzheimer's, but basically what happens is, you've had so many concussions that your brain, like you play football and shit.
Post-concussion disorder, yeah.
Which, why are you throwing that in? But, okay, whatever, why does that make him throw up blood? That's what I want to fucking know. Because twice in the movie, he gets these horrible headaches because of his brain disorder, and he starts throwing up straight up blood. How the fuck does that work?
Yeah, that's...
And it might very well work. I do not know. I am not a medical doctor, but it makes no fucking sense to me.
Well, I'm just trying to sit there like... No. I mean, if it's right up here... I'm just trying to think how it could end up anywhere near his stomach to where he could throw it up. I mean, I guess it could leak into, like, if he's got a brain bleed or something.
But that's not what it is. They described it as like plaque on his fucking brain.
Right. Yeah, it's not something that I would think would cause
the bloody throw
blood vomiting.
Yeah, but yeah, that was the one thing in the whole movie that I could have just fucking absolutely done without. Take that whole thing out, because at the end it's like, oh, happy ending. It's like, nah, motherfucker's brain damaged. Like,
well, the thing is, I think it's one of those things like, what can we make him do? Well, it was a plot point to describe why he wrote everything down too. But that wasn't neither.
But why is that? Why can't he just be the kind of dude who writes everything down and keeps shit?
He's prudent.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think they wanted something that wasn't going to actually kill him, but at key moments could debilitate him. So they're like, hey, post-concussion syndrome. That can cause headaches and nausea and blurred
Or somebody
vision.
was trying to make a political point with that shit, too. Who knows? Who knows? But it was so goddamn unnecessary. It was so unnecessary. Yeah. Like, this is slowing down his aiming process because he can't see really well because he's got a headache. Yeah. But he still hits the dude dead on like 3 times.
And it really literally only existed to add tension to some of the more action-oriented moments and scenes. I was just like, oh, otherwise he'd run these guys over. So now he's got to have he's got to be debilitated to, he's...
Yeah, he's fucking 50-year-old Jason Bourne, but he's got brain damage.
Statham wouldn't play that shit.
No.
Statham would be like, fuck that. They can just go down.
Actually, Statham would play that shit, but...
Yeah, I guess he would.
Yeah. We'd be all smarmy and British about it the whole time.
But first his heart and adrenaline levels. Now he's got brain damage. He's got to trade out brains or he's gonna die. Crank 3. There you go. Just described it for you.
I would love it.
Get it going.
Oh man. Speaking of Statham, that fucking trailer we saw.
Oh, for Fast 7.
Well, beyond that, fucking transporter refueled.
God, yes, that was why they decided they needed to do that.
I don't know. Well, it's along the same line. It's kind of like, oh, there's another Hitman movie coming out, but that trailer actually looks really fun.
Yeah,
like that movie's gonna be awful, but it looks really fun.
And that one's not so much a reboot as this transporter one is either, because it's. Oh man, and it was one of those situations where I believe at the time they were in negotiations to do another transporter with Statham, but he was too busy, so they backed out and said, "Oh, well, we'll just make our own and get a new guy and do it that way."
Just wait.
That's what that was.
Just
because he was
wait.
busy doing every other fucking movie under the sun.
Yeah. He was making Homefront at the time.
Yeah, Homefront. Expendables 3. he was making better quality flicks. Oh man, but yeah, and then so we got the trailer for that too.
Yeah.
But I don't.
We should probably finish talking about the actual movie we saw.
Right. I mean,
we basically said about everything I have to say about it, except for at the end there's this weird scene with a bull. Just like through a series of random events during this last fight, he said, like, the whole last scene of the movie takes place at a bullfighting ring, which I'm sure that was used as metaphor. I'm sure that was the point, because they kept showing the bullfight in between shots of fighting, which, I won't even get into my feelings on bullfighting. I'm not an animal rights guy by any fucking means. Cows taste fucking good, but that shit's barbaric.
They say we're fucked up, but you're still killing bulls for no other reason than it entertains you, so...
No, not just killing. That's fucking torture.
Oh, yeah.
That process is nothing but torture. Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah. Basically, through a series of events that happen during this fight, things get nudged, ropes get pulled, things happen. So a giant mad bull is, like, just kind of released behind a door, and, Sean Penn's up on the door, the bad guy's kind of down here, Sean Penn's up here, they're pointing guns at each other. Like, the girl climbs up and the door swings open, and here comes the bull and hits the dude. And it's just like...
Gores the hell out of him.
Like, what? But why? Like, and the whole time it's just like, they kept showing these little things happening and then showing the bull. And it's like, so you spend like 10 minutes going, just fucking let it happen already.
Yeah, and... I may be wrong about this, but I don't think that bulls have a tendency to be that pissed off right off from the get-go. They piss them off when they're in the middle of the ring, but I don't think they come out of the gate that pissed off. So for him to just charge at him like that, maybe if it's in his way more so than anything else. But he could have just as easily stepped aside and the bull would have just ran right past his ass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who knows? I mean... Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing like with the running of the bulls.
Yeah.
The only reason people get gored is because the bulls, if they're in their fucking way.
Yeah.
Get off the... You're not going to make it. Jump off to the side, you'll be fine. The bulls aren't there to try and kill you. The bulls are there to run. And if you're in their way, they will run you down. But they're not running to kill you. They don't see you and go,
yeah, no, that bull was straight
dead.
up going to kill
that
dude.
bull was going to kill him. So, it's... Oh, man.
Well, at the same time, for all the fucking flaws and ridiculous shit we're pointing out about this movie, it was not a bad watch. Like,
no.
I didn't feel anger or disappointment or anything when watching this movie. I was sitting there going, well, it is what it is. But, I mean, it's certainly a good watch. I don't know that I'd go to the theater and spend $14 to see it, but if you can catch it at a second run place, or, like, I'd say it's worth a rental on a slow night if there's something If you've seen everything else and this is there, like it's not a bad watch. It's a decent way to kill an hour and a half, 2 hours,
something like that. Yeah, not too long.
I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's ridiculous kind of in that right action movie kind of way, where it's like, yeah, it's an action movie. Fuck it.
It doesn't try to get
It's like this
overly smart on it. I mean, it adds.
It ain't winning an Oscar, and they knew it when they made it. So.
Right. Sean Penn's got his Oscar. He's like, whatever.
Yeah.
I got this. Now it's time for fun. Yeah, I mean, I could have done without some of the heavy-handedness on the PMCs, but I mean, if they'd done it right, I could have seen it as a better driving force, because it just kind of ends with him. And that's the one thing I'm kind of... So eventually he ends up talking to Interpol, which Idris Elba is the guy he contacts, so that's why he's in there.
Yeah.
For like 5 minutes. So he's there, and he gets told, he's like, well, you cooperating with us is going to help, but I can't lie, you're going to do jail time, and it's going to be rough. And then it cuts to his girlfriend back in the Congo, and it couldn't have been that much later.
Yeah.
And it shows him getting off a bus. It's like, okay, that was hard jail time, all 3 fucking months of it. What the fuck? It couldn't have been that long. I mean, you killed some guy. I understand that your cooperation helped bring...
Well, he was tried in Montana. Fucking Montana.
He got 20 years and was off in 3 months on good behavior.
Well, no, the minimum sentence is 20 years, but the judge decided that, the guys were badder than they seemed, so they served 30 days.
It's like, you did the world a good, so we'll give you that. Yeah, we'll give you credit.
Fucking Montana. I can't even say the whole state, just that one bullshit dumbass elected official.
All it takes is one, man. But yeah, that kind of threw me because it made it sound like he was going to serve hard time and he's going to serve it long. But no, it cops out. Like, that should have been the end. I think that would have been good. Like, him going to jail and meeting up later. But, I mean, it felt like it was a few months later.
I had problems with that in this movie in a couple of ways where it's just like, try a little harder. It's like, okay, there's the beginning of the movie, and then it's 8 years later, right? Woman still has the same haircut. All Javier Bardem has done is slick his back. Sean Penn shaves. That's it. The other dude in his team that he goes and talks to later still has the same haircut as well. It's like, it's been 8 years.
Yeah.
People change this shit sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, give him a different haircut. Do something. Like, give me a semblance of, like, maybe...
Time has
actually passed. Like, because it's one thing to, like, give me something, because either way, it's still hard for me to go, this beautiful woman hasn't aged in a decade.
No lines, no nothing.
Yeah.
You look just like you did.
Yeah, that's great. Give me a fucking change of haircut. Something to just make me go, the back of my brain to go, time has passed.
Right.
Like, I don't actually have to believe it, but just give me something.
Throw some gray in there, a little something. Gray the temples, anything. Just...
Yeah, for any of them. Just cut their fucking hair. Like, give them a few more scars. Do fucking something for me. Try. Just fucking try.
Yes.
There's so much wrong with the movie, but at the same time, I still kind of...
They can't all be Boyhood, man.
Yeah.
They can't film over 8 years, man. They can't do it.
No, they can't. And that's fine. I don't expect them to.
Yeah.
That's too much to ask, and I don't want to say never use, like, there's a difference in time period thing in a movie, because it could be a really good and awesome storytelling tool, but just fucking try. Like,
it doesn't take, and it's not like you have to sit there and spend 2 hours of makeup.
No.
A little bit here and there, just highlights.
A haircut. A fucking haircut would have done it. Yeah. 2 separate, distinct hairstyles.
Yeah.
Would have done it. Even at the end. Like...
True.
Like, start her off with long hair, cut her hair, then give her longer hair again. Time has passed. Like, because if her hair's here... And then at the end of the movie, it's down to here. I'll go, oh, that's a couple years at least.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And it's like you're in the Congo. It's not like you're gonna have time to cut your hair. What the fuck, man? You're too busy. It's not like
I would say, like, you put me in the jungle, I'm gonna fucking get that shit as close to the skin as I can. Don't give those dudes with the machetes anything to grab onto.
Right. Give me straight Roman style. Don't be grabbing my hair. But yeah, it's a decent movie to watch. You're right. It's not something that I would catch in prime time, but a
second run or a cheap matinee or something like that.
A weekend morning or something when you're, when they do discounts or like I said, when it comes to video, go ahead and rent it. It's not going to be. Yeah. I mean, it's nothing great, but
I think it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
There's plenty of movies that aren't great that are worth a watch, you know, and that's fine. Like.
Yeah, I think the pedigree of acting really.
With a lesser cast, this would have been horrible.
Yeah.
With a lesser cast, this would have been a really bad movie. The cast does a lot to keep you compelled with it.
Yeah.
And I think with the director too, like he's not like a genius auteur by any means, but he's very capable. It's clean. It's fucking like the shots all make sense. Nothing is out of line.
No,
like,
it's not. It's they do a good job with keeping the film going.
Yeah.
And having the shots you need and not doing anything extra with them.
Yeah. And no shaky cam.
No.
No, it's fine. No major complaints other than just like some storytelling issues, really.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, it's like we see a movie every fucking week now, so it's just like that little shit is really starting to stick out to me, like in a big way, where it's just like no, like at the very beginning of the movie, like in 2006, like everybody's like. RVR Bardem pulls out his phone out of his pocket for like a split second and puts it back in, so you can't really see what the phone is, but at the same time, it's straight up an iPhone. Like a modern one, with like the flat edges and shit, and it's just like, oh, God, come on, guys. Because they do a good job with Sean Penn through the whole thing. He's got a fucking like Motorola flip phone.
Yeah.
But it's just basically a bit... Javier Bardem had his phone in his pocket and just went like that, and they're like, we'll use it.
It's like, that'll work. Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, that...
Yeah, very watchable.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see.
Trailers?
Besides...
Well, Avengers again.
Oh.
Can't fucking wait.
Oh, yes.
And then, Fast and the Furious 7.
Yeah.
Which, say what you want to about those movies, they're not great. They're so much fucking fun.
They are very fun.
Yeah, they are by no means genius. I don't really think there's any great actors in them, but they're so much fun.
It was like the first few, they're like, let's try and get serious.
Yeah.
And then as they got on, like, no,
like,
fuck that, let's get ridiculous.
5 and 6, they just go off the fucking rails, and it's great. So I'm looking forward to this one, because they're like parachuting cars and shit, and that's just going to be amusing.
Jumping off a bus, falling off a cliff, and grabbing onto the fin of a car that's doing a slide. It's, that kind of stuff. And a car flying out of one high-rise skyscraper into another high-rise skyscraper. While somebody's shooting a rocket at it's just...
Well, Statham's shooting a rocket.
Well, Statham, yes.
And then what else did we had the new Hitman Agent 47 trailer, which, you know what? Like, I don't think that movie's going to be very good. But that trailer still makes me want to see it, because it's like, oh, this is going to be just fucking, they don't care about physics. Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Just bad.
Like every once in a while, I want an action movie that just does not give a shit about physics, and I think that might be the one this year.
Hell yeah.
Because it looks awful, but like the dude... Like, alright, like, I can see him doing this role. Like, my only problem with that whole trailer is they show the tattoo on the back of his head there at the beginning of it, and it's like, come on, guys, at least use a Sharpie and draw it on that obviously is resting on top of his stubble.
Well, and I kind of feel like that is almost CGI'd. Like, I feel like that's not going to be the end tattoo.
I hope it's not.
I don't think it is. Like, because it should just be a barcode.
Well, it was a barcode.
But I mean,
it was like a yellow barcode.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It should just be a black barcode, if I remember correctly from the games. It's not. that. That looks like they took a fucking mac and cheese barcode and just kind of slapped it on the back of his head.
It really
That's
does.
what they did. It's like, what the fuck was that?
To me, it kind of looks like a fucking, like, it seriously looked like a temporary tattoo sticker, like, sitting on...
Give it 5 minutes.
Because it literally looked like it was, like, bubbled and sitting on top of it, the stubble on the back of his head and shit.
Yeah, it did.
It's like maybe, like, that's a quick pickup shot they did, like, even without the main actor. They're like, just put this on.
Right.
And then Transporter fucking refueled with Dario Naharis, who is no longer Dario Naharis. I'm wondering if that dude left Game of Thrones to make that movie, or if they just fired him and that's what he decided to do.
I don't know. Either way, I feel like they lost out. It's kind of like, I mean, well, Game of Thrones just is going to keep going because that's what Game of Thrones is, but either way, I feel like that was a loss. So, but what are you going to do?
Yeah.
People go see it, it'll make a little bit of money, so.
Yeah, I honestly don't without Statham, I don't think it'll do that well.
No, it's not going to do well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to make money, but...
Like, I think it's something that would probably normally be a straight-to-video release.
It looked it, too.
Yeah, it really did.
We got that religious, what is it, Little Boy?
Oh, Little Boy. Gotten that trailer so many times.
I was very confused as to why that was attached to this movie.
Because there was war scenes in the trailer. Also, it's attached to everything. They're pushing that movie like fucking crazy. It's the best casted religious movie yet.
Well, because it has Michael Rappaport in it.
Fuck yeah! And Tom Wilkinson.
Oh, yeah, I forgot Tom Wilkinson was in there for a second. Oh, man. Like, I feel like that may be... From that trailer, it makes me seem like it's maybe the least heavy-handed of those religious films thus far.
We'll find out.
Yeah, I know you'll find out, but at the same time, it's like, well, it's good to have a little kid believe in something, I guess. And not be, I don't know. I guess it's a good thing to have give a kid the faith that he might be able to bring his dad home. I mean, that's nice. I mean, even without the whole God aspect. I think
it's nicer without the God aspect.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's...
At least you're not trying to prove to me God's existence. You're showing to me this little boy has faith.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. And, you know, it's just... They're...
You can do that right without being
everybody should have movies made for them. I firmly believe that. Unless you're a fucking child rapist, then you can fuck yourself. Montana!
Montana's getting hit hard tonight.
I'm so sorry. It's just I read like 3 articles on that today, and I just find it fucking repulsive and disgusting that our legal system can be that fucked up in this country at times. But anyway, back to other shit.
Now I'm trying to think of what else we got. So we got Little Boy, Transporter.
When we were kind of talking through it, but there was a trailer with Tom Hardy, I think, as a Russian.
Oh yeah, that was the one.
I don't even remember what that was called, but it was just like Tom Hardy, Russian. I'm in.
It actually had a decent cast when I kept looking over at it. Like 1952.
Yeah.
Like there was Killer or something. Yeah. So that.
Yeah.
that was terrible. We totally just didn't catch that one because that was the one that was first.
Well, we hadn't seen a movie with each other in a while, so we were just kind of like catching up and shit.
So that one.
I missed you.
I missed you too. I know. Cue the music. Oh. Was that it? I mean, I felt like that we got a lot of trailers.
I think they were just long trailers because I don't really specifically remember anything else.
Yeah, they were kind of long trailers, but
fuck it all. Avengers is coming out. That's
Avengers,
the only one that matters.
That's gonna be a good movie to turn 32 too.
Is that your 30th birthday?
It comes out May 1st. My birthday's the 4th.
Okay.
So that's, So I always end up getting, I guess the great thing about having a birthday right then.
You get a good movie.
I always get the good, like I get the Spider-Mans, Iron Man, Like, and a lot of them have fallen actually on my birthday, which is fun. So
Yeah,
I usually get the comic book movies.
The best movie I've ever gotten on my birthday weekend was The Gray.
That's not a bad one.
No, it wasn't. But you gotta think, I'm 32, and that's the best movie that's ever come out on my birthday weekend.
Because I'm trying to think, I turned 19, right in the middle of watching the first Spider-Man. That was cool. I actually, and Spider-Man 3 came out on my birthday, that kind of stuff. So I think one of the Iron Mans came out on my birthday.
Spider-Man 3 was terrible.
Yeah.
But at least it was a movie you could look forward
I had
to
an entire
going to.
theater sing me happy birthday, so I can't really...
That's...
Granted, 200 people singing in different keys wasn't exactly great, but it was still fun.
Yeah, but if you drink enough, it all sounds good.
So that was kind of cool. But other than that, I mean, yeah, this will be the movie this year. So every once in a while, I'll get movies that actually come out on my birthday, and usually comic book movies, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm just excited about the Avengers because, like, we're getting some of my favorite characters in there now. Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be
Vision.
good.
I want more Vision.
Fucking Paul Bettany.
Got that 2-second clip. I'm like, no, I want more. Give me more Vision.
Yeah.
And then watching Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver beat the shit out of everybody. It's kind of fun too.
Yeah. Oh, and the TV trailer they released today actually shows Scarlet Witch it shows Quicksilver saying something, and they actually made him Eastern European. It's like, fuck yeah! He's an arrogant fuck.
Just like Daddy.
Yeah, yeah. Alright, well, I'm fucking done.
There's not much else we can say, so... Guess that's it.
We'll see you next week for something, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but...
It'll be something.
It'll be something.
Just generally speaking anymore, I just show up here at the theater and assume I'm gonna see a movie.
Look, what do you got for us this week?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Jesus, African Americans, comic books. What's going on today?
I feel like one of these days Brad's just gonna start doing movie roulette, where he's just like, I just need you to show up, and then we'll decide what you're seeing. I'm just gonna hand out tickets randomly, and there you go.
I think that would be a really interesting thing for us to do on like a big movie release day, like Christmas.
Yeah.
Like it would hard to get all of us together for an actual like Christmas like night at the movies, but if we could get everybody involved and just like, because there's always at least 4 movies that come out on Christmas.
There's a bunch.
So we could straight up do like a Wheel of Fortune with it.
And I get... Fuck. God damn it. Not the one I wanted, but...
Eh.
That would actually be kind of fun, though.
Yeah, it would. It'd be really interesting.
Yeah, movie, I don't know.
I'm still disappointed. Brad and I were talking like when they first announced it about doing the Marvel Marathon, but they're not doing it here.
I know.
The closest one is in KC. Fucking Kansas City is the
fuck is it Kansas City?
Closest theater doing the Marvel Marathon. And Brad and I were gung ho about it until we looked up the theaters doing it.
Which is
like,
weird as
shit,
sucks. Considering Chicago and St. Louis aren't that far.
Yeah.
Fucking Kansas City's on the other side of Missouri. What the fuck? That's the... Jesus.
Yeah.
I figured...
There's only like 7 theaters in the country doing it.
That's pointless.
Yeah. I did. Anyway. They're out. I'm done talking. I want a cigarette. Bye!
See ya.